I would love to know more about this boy. I would really love to know more about this boy because a lot of what's missing from these cases a lot of times is that we can't take these isolated situations. I'm saying for us, the court, they have to decide on the information that's in front of them. I'm saying as we speculate, we talk about these things, like we have to really think about, like,
Yes,
in these type of situations, what is the backstory of the boys? Is the other guy, Metcalf, was he a bully?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Was there, they say that they didn't know each other prior to. Like I said, it's a sad case. My question though is, what's he doing with the knife anyway? He was at a track meet. I mean, there's a lot of. Go ahead. I mean, maybe.
I was going to bring that up because part of the self-defense argument is that if you and I are in proximity of somebody or in each other's proximity, and me and you have an issue, in Georgia we have stand your ground, but Texas, I mean, it's very much stand your ground. I ain't got to run at all, and I can meet you with force. The problem is if you and I are standing in the middle of the street, duking it out, is different than you and I were standing on a playground at an elementary school shooting it out.
Right.
Sure, we got constitutional carry. The problem is you're not supposed to be carrying on school grounds.
School grounds.
So therein is I really want to hear. That's why I really wish this was being streamed so we could all hear it. I want to hear how they justify. Sure, you could, if me and Neeson out here duking it out on the street and we pull out knives and we go old school beat it, like Michael Jackson and beat it, and we try to stab each other, then that's one thing. But if we're over here at the local elementary school and we break out in the middle of the cafeteria and start doing that, that's different because you're not supposed to have those weapons on school grounds. So I don't know how they fix that because sure, he was justified, but your problem is he was at a school. You can't beat that. It's a school. So I don't know how they fix that and square that peg that he had a weapon on school grounds.
Wow. Yeah, that part I didn't even think about that. But still, I think this it just says a lot about it. I'm usually not a what but a why guy, right?
Okay.
So my questions always go back to why would he had the knife in the first place? So I don't know what the situation was prior to this, but I'm assuming, there's it's the generational thing where nobody could take a butt whooping type of thing. Like if he's mopping them up and he was losing, sometimes you just gotta take that L. You fight back. If you can't win, you can't win. I just still trying to figure out the grounds of where it comes to taking out the knife and stabbing somebody. Now, if you got it, then you're more than likely to probably do something like that. If your pride's being hurt, it's in front of a lot of people. And I think that's probably where it was coming from. But it's still bothersome for me that he had the knife in the first place. I carried weapons. I carried weapons because that was a part of the culture. And if
he was doing things, right?
Yeah, exactly. So generally having one, especially at a track meet, it's just hard for me to justify him having the weapon in the first place, let alone using it. So, yeah, but I'm like you. I wish they were streaming this so we could get more insight to what was going on.
Yeah, and I think because there's just too many questions that we have, and I think we're not going to get it. So we listen to Fox, we listen to the local news in Texas, we listen to, this is international. So there going to be international reporters there. We're going to get different stories. And I would be like, man, I would love for us all to hear the exact same thing at the same time from, who is it? A video forensic expert. So if we all heard the video forensic expert together, we could all okay, we can't argue what he said. But if Neeson is listening to somebody in his home, in his town that's reporting on it, and I'm listening to somebody here in Georgia, and realtors listen to somebody in Texas, we're probably, it's very possible we're going to have a different, it's a very bad game of, a Chinese telephone, so to speak. And I really think we might be, that's the only thing I wish we could, again, just stream it so we could all hear it at the same time. We can still parse it out and still disagree. but at least we won't disagree what he said. Because I've heard people already say it wasn't a knife, it was a file. I've heard people say some kind of cleat cleaner and all that kind of stuff. Like, see, we're gonna be here all night,
all day, because when you don't have everything there. At the end of the day, the case in and of itself is an extremely sad case because nobody wins. There is no justice for this. Like, the boy's not coming back. This boy's possibly his life and or reputation will be destroyed no matter what. If he beats the case, the reputation is destroyed. If he ends up in prison, which is probably the more likely situation, then his life is destroyed. And so all the parents lose in this type of situation. So I think this is, like I said, bigger societal issue of what's going on in the particularly, like I said, in the Black community. I don't understand. I would love to know more about this boy. I would really love to know more about this boy, because a lot of what's missing from these cases a lot of times is that we can't take these isolated situations. I'm saying for us, the court, they have to decide on the information that's in front of them. I'm saying as we speculate, we talk about these things, like we have to really think about, like, in these type of situations, what is the backstory of the boys? Is the other guy, Metcalf, was he a bully? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Was there, they say that they didn't know each other prior to, but, in the spirit of competition, sports can get very, it could get, there were many fights at my high school. I think, when I was in high school, I think we were number one in the country in basketball. So we had ballers. Nate Robinson was on our team. We were really good. But there was a couple teams that we knew that there was people showing up ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? Every time that we played particular teams. So you get those, it's a competitive thing. So sometimes those things happen. And then the heat of the moment, when you get to knives and all those other things, that brings some other disturbance. They mentioned he had epilepsy. I don't know what that has to do with having a knife. That usually causes seizures, from what I know.
You're right.
But I understand how that would have contributed to his anger, at least in that place. And maybe I don't know enough about epilepsy.
Yeah, I don't get it either. They also yesterday talked about how the defense attorney is going to call him Mello and not Karmelo, which is his full name. And I'm like, what? Again, go ahead.
What?
Yeah, they call him the defense attorney is calling him Mello. So I'm calling you little knee or something like that. Give you like a personally, I think it's to make him very juvenile.
Right.
Right. They already said he's like, he cut his hair off. He looks very polished, but he looks very young. So when your son go gets a haircut, he done had this bush on his head for a minute. You cut his hair down, get that line up. He looks younger.
Presentable.
And so he looks presentable. I'm not saying that even the big hair, even though I'm against big hair, is bad. But I think because of that, he makes him look younger. The reporter said yesterday, and I think this is part of it. So now, not only does he look younger, I'm calling him like a child's name, little knee, little black, or whatever the equivalent name would be for you. But I think you see my point. So
yeah, you're right, Mello. Whatever. It's sad, man. It's a sad, very sad case. And it's so hard for me, the ramifications of such a case, of how much race goes into this, that it really ain't that deep. It just ain't deep. And I think it's these are two kids. They had an issue, and it's being turned into something much bigger than what it is. It's very unfortunate.
And back to my initial point, I feel like it's by design that happens, because there's a group of people who, no matter what, are going to side with Carmelo Anthony because of his ethnicity, his ethnic expression. And there's a group of people, no matter what, are going to side with Metcalf, no matter what, his ethnic expression. And I'm like, yeah, we need cooler heads to prevail. I don't need you to represent Metcalf. I don't need you to represent Carmelo. I need us to represent truth and say, this is the truth. And we need to be able to say that. But just like what we said, like in the Black community, we're not willing to say hard things about our community and say, yeah, we need to deal with this issue.
That's true.
So I think that's the the problem, if you will. We can say on a micro level in the Black community, we can say at a macro level, just humans in general, we become polarized, and we're quick to be polarized and don't realize we're being led around by our nose into stuff that if people thought about it, really sat back and looked at it, like, hold on now. What does this matter? Like, what is it this man did? No matter what, he did kill somebody. That's wrong.
Right. Period.
Right. That's just it. Like, just like if it
doesn't
would
mean he's the worst person in the world.
You know, he's the worst person in the world.
He made a horrific decision, at the wrong time, and unfortunately, it is what it is. But yeah, that's true. I think over vilifying him would be wrong also. But at the same time, defending behaviors that you can't, like you said, you got to be able to call these things out, and it's as much more about us when you're not willing to do that, because as you said, like the little boy who crawls over, like the premise is that always, these guys ain't gonna, and because you're that way, you push people into believing the other thing. That's what happens. They're naturally going to believe the other way because they're already used to you not calling anything out.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.